Hello everyone. Recently, the news has been browbeating the fact that some adverts might be considered racist. And in this BBC article, are adverts deliberately being racist? I'm already going to assert an answer that no, they aren't. But let's see what the article has to say anyway, because it's by the BBC, so it's got to be grade A reporting. Several big brands have been labelled racist recently after releasing adverts which have backfired. Well, a lot of things have been labelled racist recently, and it's for no good reason, as I'm sure these adverts are being called racist for no good reason. H&M apologised in January for showing a black child modelling a hoodie which had "coolest monkey in the jungle" on the front, following a huge backlash. And also, this backlash included a load of South Africans going round tearing up shops of H&M in South Africa to show that they aren't barbaric apes by going round and acting like barbaric apes. But I can't help the way they act. They think that's a reasonable way to react to a advert that didn't intend to be racist, and well, that's what you get. Dove Soap said sorry a few months earlier for releasing a series of images that appeared to show a black woman turning into a white person. I don't really understand what is racist about this. And neither does the woman who was in the advert, as she wrote an article for The Guardian explaining that there was nothing racist about it and that context might have mattered. Jeez. And Chance the Rapper had labelled an advert for Heineken's low-calorie beer terribly racist, claiming that brands are purposefully putting out notably racist ads so that they can get more views. But is there any truth in his claim? No. Paul Mackenzie Cummins, managing director of Clearly PR Marketing and Communications, thinks some brands are using race to grab people's attention. I can tell you now they are not. They're clever people, those working in ad agencies. They're very skilled and have huge budgets and are under increasing pressure to raise the profile of their client's brand. It's an ultra-competitive market, and the retail space has never been as competitive as to what it is now. They need to do something to get their voices seen and heard. Okay. Paul, who worked in advertising for 11 years, thinks the approach will ultimately damage a brand's reputation. Well, then why would they do it? I think they're gonna know that. They're gonna do market research and go, do you think seeing a black boy in a sweater is a bad thing? And lots of people are gonna go, no. So they put a black boy in a sweater, and everyone, well, no, a very loud minority of people and a few South Africans take it quite badly because they're idiots. Basically, that's all I can think. To a degree, Chance is kind of right in the sense that it's deliberately being provocative and it's trying to get the headlines, and it's working in that respect. That's the key word, respect. That's what it comes back down to. That's a bit of a word salad, I don't really get his point. And this ultimately is going to be much more damaging for brands than what they actually realise. That's probably because they do realise that putting racism in your adverts is pretty bad. They do realise that they don't want to be racist. They do realise that people are against racism in general. There's no way they're doing this on purpose. It's just people looking to be offended, as has been the case for the past decade. The UK's advertising watchdog, the Advertising Standards Authority, ASA, has received 2,396 racism complaints since 2013. About 956 ads. What's that? Less than 250 complaints a year? Something? No, less than 500 complaints a year for about 200 different adverts. That's... I mean, people don't have a lot to do with their time sometimes, so they will look for racism and complain about it. So, in my mind, that's not bad. Of those, 12 cases were formally investigated. Holy crap. And 10 of those had the complaint upheld, which is fine, they're doing their job then. But it says a lot when 2,396 complaints are made and 10 of them meant anything. That's not a great hit rate. That's less than 1% of the complaints hit some type of target. which is ridiculous. People need to find better things to do with their lives, obviously. The ASA has the power to ban adverts it thinks breaches its standards, which is fine. One of its most recent cases was a complaint against Paddy Power for an advert featuring boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr., who encouraged readers to always bet on black. It banned the advert because it was likely to cause serious offence on the grounds of race, and told the bookies not to make the same mistake again. And here is the advert. Always bet on black. We've paid out early on a Mayweather victory because we checked, and only one of them is a boxer. Now, I don't know if... How do I feel about this, actually? Because I think it's quite a funny joke, to be honest. And obviously someone was offended by it. It's not like the Count Dankula case where the police just went off to find someone to be offended at it. But someone's obviously written in saying that they find it offensive, so is it right for them to remove the advert? I mean, I'm not sure personally, because these adverts are going to be on everywhere. These adverts are going to be put outside the bookies, and well, where do you draw the line? Like, is it is it actually offensive? Because someone's obviously found it offensive, but we don't know how many people found it offensive. Because if it's just one or two people who have nothing better to do, then there's not really too much grounds to take the advert down on. But, well, I don't know how many people complained about it. But it got formally investigated and it was deemed offensive and should be taken down. So I'm going to trust the ASA on that. But I think it's stupid. Kubi Springer is the founder of global branding agency. She builds brands and has worked with the likes of L'Oreal and the MOBO Awards. She says that despite adverts being looked at by lots of people before they make it to the public, a lack of diversity in advertising agencies means things can be missed. I'm pretty sure these advertising agencies are trying to make it as diverse as possible, and people then complain about racism when there's a lot of because a thing I find with most of these ads is that they're trying to, it seems that they're trying to be diverse in the ads by putting a load of black people or what have you in it, and then someone finds some way to make it racist. I think the greatest example is that 0-calorie Heineken advert. When they say sometimes it's better to be light, or whatever it said, obviously it meant the weight of the beer, because, or, you know, having a 0-calorie beer is going to make you lighter. It obviously referred to weight either way. But there are a load of black people in it, so, is it saying that it's only for white people? Like, no, obviously not. And they weren't thinking about that, probably because they're not racist. But you people just want to complain about things. Our adverts are just going to be bland in a few years, I can tell you that. I wouldn't go as far as to say brands are making innocent mistakes, but they are. They're not even making mistakes. But also wouldn't go as far as Chance the Rapper and say they are being deliberately racist. Okay, I guess there can be a grey area there, but, well, we'll see what your reasoning is. You need people at management and senior manager level that are diverse, and that's both ethnicity, as well as the LGBT community, as well as women who will say, actually, this might offend a particular demographic, and maybe you should think about this again. You do realise people have to be in these adverts, right? These diverse people have to be in these adverts. And I'm sure if they found it offensive, they'd tell someone. But yeah, we'll just keep trying to push this agenda of engineering society. Plato would be very happy. Jesus Christ. A 2017 survey by the Institute of Practitioners in Advertising found that 12.9% of employees in the ad industry were from a black or ethnic minority background, which is just below the UK's, because I think the UK's is about 13.4% or something. So that's not bad. It's pretty close to the UK national average of it. So obviously there's going to be a problem with this. Sarah Jenkins, the Chief Marketing Officer at advertising agency Grey London, doesn't believe any brand would put out a racist ad on purpose, and I think she's right. Her agency has set up a diversity task force, Jesus Christ, which has the support of around 20 advertising agencies to help the industry attract more representative employees. Like Kubi, she thinks a lack of diversity within the industry means some brands may not realise that ads could be seen as inappropriate. I think that's a load of bull. She says, although we're seeing some bad campaigns, there are still some brilliant agencies and initiatives in this place. The one bad campaign you could arguably say is the Paddy Power one, and that wasn't even bad. Not in my mind, anyway. But you know, maybe they're being deliberately provocative or deliberately being tongue-in-cheek, but deliberately racist is a bit far in my mind. I think what we've done with a diverse task force is pull together the biggest and most forward-thinking ad agencies in the UK, and we're working together and using our skills to attract the best talent. That's not because we're worried about getting things wrong. It's a more positive reason. It's because when we are diverse, we get better ideas. Certainly when you have a diversity of thought, we get different perspectives and different approaches, and the work simply gets better. I'm sure you do, but I don't think that comes directly from diversity of skin colour, gayness, and women. But what do I know? I'm just a straight white male with one perspective in life. Every white male has the same perspective in life. That's what these people think. You get a black person, they're going to be entirely different to white people. That's why they vote completely different blocks. You know, no black man voted for Trump. Like, oh god, it's just it's an asinine thing to say. These people just want to engineer society, and at least it appears that the advertising agency in the UK, at least it seems they're fairly reasonable. I mean, the Paddy Power one, I can see the justification for taking it down at the very least, but at least they seem to not be taking complaints too seriously, which I think is a good thing. And to be honest, 2,000 people writing in over the course of 5 years to the ad agency is a bit of a nothing number. And in my mind, that's absolutely fine. There's not much else to say on this, really, just people are idiots. And to answer the question again, are adverts deliberately being racist? The answer is no. No, adverts would never deliberately be racist, and they'd never deliberately be racist because they'd get taken down in a heartbeat, and they know it. They have to go through the ad agency before they can be put up. And obviously the ad agency makes some mistakes, that's why they take some adverts down. But to say that advertisers are being deliberately racist when they have a decent demographic of minorities, I'd say that's a load of horseshit. But again, what do I know? I'm just a straight white male. In the meantime, thank you for listening, and goodbye.